The divisional round. What many people think is the best weekend in professional football is upon us. This Saturday, this Sunday, we're going to be in Kansas City. We're going to be in Green Bay. We're going to be in Tampa Bay. We're going to be in some of the most iconic stadiums in the league. And it's going to be friggin' awesome. Okay? Let's be honest, though, folks. It was a little bit of a lackluster wild card weekend. A lot of blowouts. Couple good games, but for the most part, a lot of blowouts. And I don't think anybody's really surprised at any of the teams that won this week. So we're going to go over what's hot and what's not. We're going to get into the games this weekend. We're going to make our picks for this weekend. And then in segment number 3, we're going to talk about the evolution of New York sports betting and what we like this week, how we did last week. Maybe some trends we're going to hitch up with. So playoff football is alive and well. And it is in our hearts. And it's coming to your radio stations right now. Spencer, hit me with that tape, bro.
You play to win the game.
Touchdown! Can't wait.
John.
Hey, Joe.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man.
You hyped up?
That was intense. I mean, it's always intense.
I'm in a good mood.
We have a lot going on right now. Let me set the stage for everybody. We have the Phoenix Suns Dallas game because John has money on that game. We have the Knicks and the Pelicans on Joe's phone.
Nolans.
We have money on that game too. We have money everywhere. We've just been on a sports betting frenzy since it came to New York. So yeah, this is where we're at now.
Hey, listen. We do what is given to us. This was given to us.
It was a gift.
So now we are obligated to just comply with the rules.
100%.
I am up currently. Okay? You're not. But you're working your way back.
I'm getting there.
You know, you got to take some lessons.
Take my lumps.
Take some lessons. John, speaking of lessons, before we get into our what's hot and what's not, I want to ask you a question.
Okay, what's the question?
What did we learn this week in wild card weekend? What did we learn?
It's simple. The good teams are good, and the bad teams are bad. And we were robbed. We were absolutely robbed of seeing Justin Herbert in the playoffs.
Told you.
That I don't know why I thought Pittsburgh would put up some sort of fight. They
put up a fight for a quarter.
It was a quarter. It was a good quarter. And then they just kind of said, all right, you know what? Enough is enough.
It's like when TJ Watt scored that touchdown, Mahomes was like, okay, enough's enough.
Yeah, he like woke up, right? But yeah, that's basically what I took away from it is that the 7 seed is maybe what everybody's saying is less is more. Because, I don't know, the 7 seed hasn't won yet or even really put up much of a fight.
No,
since they
have not.
Well, the Raiders kind of did, but that's a whole nother story.
John, the playoffs are here. They're upon us. And we got a lot to talk about.
We do. There was a lot this past weekend.
There was a lot. But before we get there, we have to discuss what is hot and what is not. Okay? And you know what's hot? Perfect Spiral's hot.
We are hot.
So if you want to listen to Perfect Spiral, make sure that you are listening anywhere you get your podcast. Google, Apple, Spotify, anywhere that you're listening to us, make sure that you're catching us and subscribing, rating, and reviewing, giving us the 5 stars because we're hot.
We are hot.
Super hot.
Scorching hot.
Inferno.
Whoa. El Diablo.
You want to start with what's not or what's hot?
Let's start with what's hot.
What's hot?
What's hot?
OBJ is hot, folks. sizzling hot.
Yeah. This is what everyone was kind of thinking they would see, right? When he signed with the Rams, I mean, everyone was like, including LeBron James, who basically pushed for this to happen, I feel like, was like, yeah, you know, he's going to show that he's a wide receiver one again, and he
was the go-to receiver on Monday night.
Think about that.
Maybe it's what the game plan called for, but my dude was throwing and receiving.
Yeah, he was fantastic. That catch that he made in the end zone was just like vintage OBJ, like over the shoulder. Like,
I mean, what'd you think about the Rams on that Monday night? They were dominant.
They were dominant, but were they dominant because the Arizona Cardinals are so bad? So were they dominant off of a product of the anemic Cardinals offense? Because that was anemic. That wasn't even.
I'm going to tell you right now.
Because we're going to get to them, but that was terrible.
That was the worst playoff quarterback performance I have seen in easily the past 10 seasons.
Yeah, that was rough to watch.
That was, I'm talking worse than Matt McGloin, worse than TJ Yates. That was bad. Bad. Worse than Mitchell Trubisky last year in that Saints-Bears game. It was worse than that.
Well, they were in that game.
Okay?
Yeah, that was bad, man.
But I mean, listen.
But
Odell's hot. The Arizona Cardinals are not.
They are not.
They are not. They managed to go 3-6 after starting 8-0. They lost 4 of their last 5 games. And they lost the game in week 18 to lose the division. Promptly get rammed in the wild card game against LA. John, what happened to the Arizona Cardinals?
So the Arizona Cardinals are not hot.
They're literally like ice cold.
Yeah, ice cold. You know what's funny is there's like some crazy stat where Cliff Kingsbury in the first like 7 or 8 weeks of the season, his record is incredible.
Right.
And then it's almost like his offense gets figured out. And then the final 7 to 8 weeks of the season, it's just terrible. I don't know if what's crazy is that they lost Hopkins. Then they had a bye week. And then they went on this terrible skid. And you would have thought that once you lose Hopkins, go on a bye week, you make adjustments to your offense. They didn't. Kyler Murray does not run the ball anymore. Like, he does not.
You think that's by design?
No, I think it's like he's scared to get hurt. Because this has happened 2 seasons in a row. Last year this happened where he got hurt. They were one of the better teams in the league, and then they fell off. But they didn't have such a hot start where they could sustain it. This year they had the hot start, so it sustained the losing.
Right.
And then after he hurts his ankle, he stops running. And granted, he's had flashes of where he ran. Like, he had a 50-yard run in one game a couple weeks ago. But this offense is just, it's anemic. The pass catchers, they're not using Rondale Moore properly.
No.
AJ Green is, like, beyond his prime. I mean, he had a really good year this year for somebody who we thought was done. We laughed when they signed him, but he had a decent year, but he can't get separation against Jalen Ramsey. Zach Ertz, they get in midseason, and what happens? Zach Ertz is another person who I don't think is utilized properly. I don't feel like the tight end goes well with a spread offense like that. And then you have 2 running backs who Connor was underused, but he's also been hurt. And Chase Edmonds, it's you don't know how to use both of them at the same time or both of them in 4 downs. They can't figure it out. So there's a little bit of an issue with Cliff Kingsbury. I don't know, man.
Well, there are rumblings about him there, but here's the reality of the situation, John. Are they really going to let go of a coach who just brought a team to the playoffs for the first time in like 4 or 5 seasons? That's what happened. They went to the playoffs for the first time in a while. Mm-hmm. Okay? So
they got crushed.
And they didn't have a good end to the season. And Michael Bidwill today, the owner of the Rams, the owner of the Cardinals, said he was very, very upset at how the season ended. So he's clearly looking for some...
like a jolt, like a change of some kind.
Looking for something. I think this team's problem, and I think you were onto something when you said the first half of the season they're very good, second half of the season they're not good. Okay? I think it's a combination of things. I think it's scheme. I do. I think his scheme is a little simple. Okay? And teams tend to figure it out after getting a couple months worth of tape on them. And I don't know if this is a fact, but he does work his team a lot from what I read in practice. Maybe that has something to do with it. I mean, we just heard the other day an unknown Raiders player said the reason that they made the playoffs and went on such a run in the year was because Gruden would push them at the end of the year, and Bisaccia listened to the players and kind of backed off. I hear Kingsbury does the same thing. So I don't know, but John, I'm gonna hit you with something. All right, now I want you to answer me honestly. Okay.
Okay.
Do the Cardinals have good skill players?
Oof, this is an interesting question. I think that they have decent ones.
For an offense that we say is electric, do they have good skill players?
I think that they have good players, but they don't fit. Because down the stretch, they can't figure out how to utilize certain guys. And granted, I know some of it was injury, but like Rondale Moore is good, I think, but not used right.
So I think Rondale Moore is the exception. Let's go everybody outside. Let's even include Hopkins here, okay? DeAndre Hopkins.
Getting older.
AJ Green. Christian Kirk. Andy Isabella. Zach Ertz. James Conner. Okay? Those guys are not at this stage super athletic players.
No, they're aging, some of them.
Okay? You look at the teams that are left, right? The only team I feel like that really has that like prototypical offense is the Packers.
Yes.
You know? Even the Brady Bucks have some like sizzle to them a little bit. You know? But teams like obviously San Francisco stands out, right? They're athletic as could come.
Yeah.
The Rams are athletic, right?
Deep teams.
The Bengals are athletic, right? I don't necessarily know if the Cardinals are super athletic. And I think that hurts them because they are not very, and this was evident to me, they're not very good at stretching the field.
For a team that's supposed to be a spread offense.
Right. They're not very good at doing that.
Well, because you don't have the correct players involved. AJ Green is not a stretch the field guy.
No, I don't think he is.
He's lost a step. Hopkins, even before he got hurt, started to show a little bit of he's losing a little bit of a step. And granted, Hopkins is Hopkins, but at the same time, these players do age. They don't get younger. They only get older.
Right.
So it's kind of like I don't know. I see what you mean. I agree. They just don't. I don't think they have the right pieces.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what they do this offseason.
Can I give you a quick subplot of who's hot within the Cardinals?
Oh, tell me.
Because the Cardinals are not hot, but J.J. Watt, credit to him for coming back from that injury in
my God.
Felt like 2 months.
Yeah.
He came back from an injury that he should not have come back from so fast. So credit to J.J. Watt. Saw a lot of that this weekend. But
Okay. Like that. Let's go back to what is hot. Okay? And what is hot is the city of Cincinnati.
congratulations. You want to clap it up for Cincinnati quick?
Let's tap it up.
Let's clap it up for
There
Cincinnati.
you go.
There we go.
Cincinnati, Ohio.
Broke the curse of Bo Jackson. 31 years.
31 years. John, I don't think a lot of people know about the curse of Bo Jackson. Can you explain what the curse of Bo Jackson was?
So basically, there was like a game. I think they played against the Raiders where they hurt Bo Jackson in that game, something like that, or it was a game that he got hurt in the playoffs and they haven't won since, and that they called it the curse of Bo Jackson. I might be completely wrong, but that's from what I heard. That's what it is. And now they finally won after 31 years.
Congratulations to the city of Cincinnati. And the reason that the city of Cincinnati is hot and not the Bengals themselves is, did you see, John, what Zach Taylor did after the game, after they won on Saturday?
Yeah, he actually went with CJ. How do you say his last name? The tight end. Uzama. They went to the bars, like a bar in Cincinnati, and gave the fans a game ball.
Isn't that incredible?
That was amazing. And everyone's just like, oh, man, hopefully there's nothing in that bar. You know, it can't get sick right before a playoff game.
Oh,
but
listen, that was awesome.
that was sick. Yeah,
Can
that
you
was
imagine
incredible.
being a guy or a girl in that bar celebrating the win after like what had to be like incredible emotion,
Yeah.
and you see the head coach and the tight end walk in and give the bar a game ball? That's sick.
I know.
It's unbelievable.
This is the second time a coach in Ohio has went to the bar, except this was a different outcome. Your face just now.
I just got that joke.
See, Zach Taylor did it the right way.
That was good.
You're-
Kudos to you, sir.
Your ex-coach did not do it the right way.
Kudos to you. So good job by the city of Cincinnati. I think that may be an underrated game of the week. This Bengals and the Titans. I don't think people are giving the Bengals enough of a chance on Saturday. I really don't. Saturday,
close.
right? They play Saturday?
I think, yeah, they play Saturday.
So-
They never get the Sunday game.
Well, they're the Bengals. That's why.
Never going to get prime time.
So, let me go back to what's not. And unfortunately, what's not hot is the Dallas Cowboys.
Oof. You could take this one.
I give up. I actually give up. John, for years, okay? And you can attest to this. I have been a proponent of defending this team
Very much so.
consistently. Okay?
They're your second favorite team.
Well, my wife roots for them.
Yeah.
But this is a team that on paper is a top 5 NFL roster. Okay?
You are correct.
Agreed?
Agreed.
And for a long time, the mantra was they don't have a good enough defense. That's why they'll never compete. Well, this year they had a good enough defense.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the offense that really sputtered at times. But how many times is this team going to not show up in big moments? How many times? The coordinators change. The head coach changes. Some of the players change. It's the same result. The same result. I mean, this is a team that sleptwalked through 3/4 of a playoff game at home.
That's true. Very true. It was very evident.
Okay? 14 pre-snap penalties? Or 14 penalties in general.
That was the dagger for them. That's what killed them.
CeeDee Lamb has 1 catch in this game. We'll get to that shortly. But I mean, my goodness.
You know what's crazy too, Joe?
My goodness.
The 49ers were trying to give that game away.
At the end, yeah, they were.
They were begging to lose that game. They wanted to lose that game so bad. And Dallas just could not capitalize. And then you have to talk about the last play. That horrendous play call.
So I think it's, yeah. I think there's 2 things to it. In theory, it's a great play call. In theory, if you run that play with 20 seconds left on the clock, it's a fantastic play call.
The rule of thumb is 18 seconds.
18 seconds?
18 seconds is the rule of thumb.
Okay. He had what, 14?
He had 14 seconds when they ran the ball.
You can't make that mistake. You can't. And here's the thing. If you're going to make that call as an OC, and as the head coach, you're going to okay it, you have to make sure that you get that spike off. You need to, unless this is the result. This is the result. You did not give your team a chance to win the game on the last play. Did not. Think about that. The last play of the NFC wildcard game between the Cowboys and the 49ers was a quarterback draw from the 40-yard line. That's what's going to go down in the history books. When you look at the play-by-play, that's going to be the last draw, the last play. Not, scramble. A QB draw. A designed run from the 40-yard line.
Yep.
Asinine. When are we going to when are the real Cowboys going to stand up? When? Tell me when.
Well, they won't when Mike McCarthy's the coach. Because you know what's funny, Joe, is everyone said when Mike McCarthy was hired, they were like, all right, here we go. Terrible game management. Time management is an issue constantly. Play calling's an issue constantly. And you're seeing it with Dallas. They win games in the regular season, gets to the playoffs, total gaffes. And you know what's funny is that I'm hearing so much Mike McCarthy slander, and it's totally warranted. Because when he got hired by Jerry Jones, remember he came out and he was like, oh, I watched so much film, and I studied analytics for a year, and I did all these things, right? He comes in and he's still the same old guy doing the same old stuff. And then you know what he said after the game? Did you see what he said?
I really didn't pay attention, to be honest with you. No.
After the game, in his press conference, he said that he was told by the referees in New York that they were going to add time to the clock. So that's why that's why they ran that play or something.
What?
I'm like, dude, what? First of all, take 2 shots to the end zone, do yourself the favor. The QB draw with 14 seconds left is not the call. And it is not a good look for Kellen Moore, who's trying to get head coaching jobs. It really isn't. And this is going to go down, like you said, in the history books for Dallas as another playoff loss. Dez caught it. Now this QB draw. The field goal botched. All in the last, 15 years with Dallas? They're 1-3. They don't get past the divisional.
2-6 in their last 8 playoff games.
It's insane. And you know what? Now you got to start to question. And listen, I'm going to do this. And I don't want to be that guy, Joe.
Do it.
I'm going to do it.
Do it.
I'm going to question Dak Prescott a little bit here.
I think it's time to.
I think he, at times, is phenomenal. Mm-hmm. And then I think at times he is very average. And I think at times, for somebody like him, he's approaching veteran status in the league, right? He's been in the league a long time. He's on his second contract.
I believe 6 years now. I think
he's getting there. You've seen Dak go absolutely bananas. And then you've seen Dak be super conservative. And I think what we saw is a lot of super conservative Dak. And this is a problem because the offense isn't getting younger. Now there's questions about Amari Cooper. Zeke was playing on a hurt knee, the mileage on Zeke is insane for a running back who's 26 years old, 27 years old, who looks like a shell of himself. They should have pulled him out and went to Pollard for more explosiveness.
Absolutely.
This offense lacks pop. Kind of like, you know what, Joe? Kind of like how we're questioning Arizona. You got to start to question Dallas. They lack pop. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And the one player that has pop for them, they can't find the ball. They can't get him the ball.
You talking about Pollard or Lamb?
CeeDee Lamb.
Well, now we're going to get to that.
That's criminal.
Okay. CeeDee Lamb had 1 catch in this game. 1 catch. Troy Aikman, who, I'm sure everybody who's listening knows who Troy Aikman is. But if you don't, Troy Aikman is a legendary Cowboys quarterback of the team of the 90s that won 3 championships in the decade. Okay? Mm-hmm. Troy Aikman came out and said, it's egregious that CeeDee Lamb had 1 catch in that game. And this promptly broke down that the Niners were rushing 4 guys. Now, granted, the Niners were getting home with 4 guys. Okay? But the Niners were playing single coverage on CeeDee Lamb.
Yep.
And Aikman said, if that was me, Michael Irvin would have had 10 catches by halftime. Throw him the ball, make him win some one-on-one matchups. It's CeeDee Lamb. As you just said, he's probably your most athletic player on the offense. How in the world is he getting one catch in this game? Sometimes, and Troy said this, sometimes football is that simple. Sometimes it's not about shoving your scheme down the opponent's throat. Making it work, even if it's not. Just play.
Yep.
Just play. What's wrong with throwing? This is what I never understand about some of these guys. What's wrong with throwing to Devontae? This is why I love Aaron Rodgers so much. What's wrong with throwing to Devontae Adams 7 times in a row? Who cares?
If they can't stop it, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
San Francisco on the other side of the ball. How many times did they run that end around with Deebo Samuel?
Right.
They needed. You need a yard, end around a Deebo Samuel. You need 10, end around a Deebo Samuel. How many times did they run that play in that game?
Truly incredible.
Like,
There are certain teams that just want to shove their scheme down your throat. And I don't know why.
and that's Dallas.
And everyone deserves blame. I cannot defend this team anymore. It's not about the regular season with this team. They cannot get it done in the postseason.
Nope. And you get a gift with the unfortunate injuries of Nick Bosa, gets a concussion.
Fred Warner.
Now it's like, well, injuries suck. Let's say that. Injuries suck no matter what.
Right.
But when you're getting your shit pushed in the whole night by those guys,
Pretty much.
and they're out, it's a sigh of relief.
Right, of course.
And you need to make a move. And they just could not do it, man. And there's something about them that when you brought up the Cardinals point, it just kind of stuck. There's something now. What if Amari Cooper's gone? Tyron Smith's not getting younger. Zach Martin's not getting younger.
No.
These guys are not getting younger, and you have an awesome defense. Awesome defense.
Well, who knows? Now they may lose Dan Quinn.
Yeah, and then, Trayvon Diggs got torched. Got absolutely torched. Everyone's pissed about him getting all pro nods, but we could talk about that later.
Listen, and you get 11 interceptions. I think you deserve all pro nods, but you also give up a lot of yards.
Yeah, it's feast or famine.
He's a risky cornerback. He plays risky.
Yeah, and he's playing like 10 yards off of Brandon Ayuk, and San Francisco's running slants all day. You're letting Jimmy G kill you. Death by 1,000 paper cuts.
Bad look for the Dallas Cowboys. One more. What's not, John?
Oh gosh, this is gonna get heated. If you guys, you might want to lower the volume on this one. I'm sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was very annoyed by it.
John, how bad were the NFL referees?
Bad isn't the word for it. It was disastrous. It was. I couldn't believe what I was watching. And you know what's funny? Listen, Jerome Boger's crew will not be reffing games the rest of the playoffs after that horrific whistle. So I'm sure everyone was paying attention if you watched football this weekend. And you had to see it or hear about it. In the Cincinnati Bengals Raiders game, Joe Burrow rolls out on what I think it was like 4th down, and right before he steps out of bounds, the referee at the line blows his whistle. You see him blow the whistle, in the clip. He blows the whistle. Everyone stops playing, and Joe Burrow throws a touchdown to Tyler Boyd.
Yes.
Everyone's like, what the hell? There was an inadvertent whistle. The rule book says if there's an inadvertent whistle, the play is dead. It was an erroneous whistle. Should not have happened. They go, oh, touchdown. No problem.
No big deal.
No big deal. The last time something this egregious happened, right? They had a whole summer where they talked about the rule change when the fucking cornerback blasted Michael Thomas.
Right.
In that Saints-Rams game. Egregious. No problem. Then the referee, granted, Dak should have handed the ball to the ref when he's trying to spike it, not his center. Let's be honest. Shouldn't have done that. That's football 101, quarterbacking 101.
Of course.
But the referee can't be running into Dak Prescott.
Horrible.
Like, this is bad. This is bad. And this is a bad look for the league. Because you know what? You know when the most eyes are on football? The playoffs.
Of course. Everyone's watching.
Everyone's watching. There are over 50 million people watching. Maybe more. And what happens? The refs just botch it. And because you know what? If the Bengals don't get that touchdown, that's a tie game going into the fourth. It's a tie game going into the fourth, Joe. That's a problem when you have teams winning because of bad referee work. I'm telling, it's bad. And it's just like, I don't know how they're gonna fix it. How do you even fix it?
Listen, people have been saying for years that we should just revamp the whole referee, like, get rid of everyone and just like start from hire a bunch of college refs and just go with that.
Start over.
Like, literally.
Some of these guys are ancient.
It's horrible. The best guy, I think, was the guy, Clayton Davis, I think. I forget what game he did, but I think he's the best one. And even there was the game on, I think it was Monday, the Ram game. Mm-hmm. And these guys are like, they're talking for like literally 7-8 minutes to decide a call that ends up being a no call. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's taking some of these teams out of their momentum.
Yep.
Like you said, it's a very, very, very bad look for the league. This is a league that generates so much money. A league that dominates viewership during the season. Literally, like, if you look at the top 15 watch programs of 2021, they're all NFL games.
Yeah, it's insane.
Every single one.
There's no drop off with the NFL.
Literally, own American sports. Own American entertainment. And you can't get it right with the referees.
It's so bad.
It's horrible.
It's
frustrating.
It is frustrating because games are being won and lost because of it, and that's the problem. When you start messing with the outcome of games to such a extent, Joe has a ton of Reese's on the desk, by the way.
Hell yeah, baby!
He just threw them on the counter. It's hilarious. When you start messing with the outcomes of games, that's a problem. It's a problem.
It is bad. John, we have one more What's Hot before we get on to our next segment.
Yes.
How about them Buffalo Bills there, John?
The Buffalo Bills. Should I be what's his name right now really quick?
Hal Brandt?
No, who's the guy? What's his name?
Okay.
No one rides the wagons like the Buffalo Bills.
Chris Berman?
Chris Berman, yes. Should I be Chris Berman for this whole segment?
No.
Imagine. That'd be hilarious. No, the Buffalo Bills, man. Holy cow. Talk about third time's a charm. Was that one of the most dominant offensive performances you've ever seen in the playoffs?
It might be the most dominant performance I've ever seen in the playoffs. I'm not even joking.
Josh Allen had 5 touchdown passes.
They didn't punt, John.
They didn't punt.
They scored on every possession.
Yep.
That's literally like Herman Boone. Coach, you demanded perfection. Like, but there with that. Right there.
Yep. They had it going in all facets.
I mean, good Lord. And this is what we said about Mac. When the going gets tough, can Mac win a game? No. The answer was emphatically no.
Yeah.
Granted, I don't think anyone in the league was beating the Buffalo Bills that night. Nobody in the NFL was beating the Buffalo Bills that night.
Nobody in North American sports was
No, they were possessed.
Josh Allen was a man possessed. Holy shit.
The only question I have now, you cannot ask them to play that way again next week. Impossible.
No.
But can they carry over that momentum into a place where they lost a AFC title game last year after getting up 9-0 early? Went there this year on Sunday Night Football and dominated the Chiefs when the Chiefs were struggling. And now go back there again. They go back there again.
It's going to be interesting, honestly.
And they're like what, 3.5 point dogs, I think.
I believe so. Yep. In Kansas City.
So I'm curious to see what that offense is going to look like.
I want to look something up quick.
Oh, John wants to look something up. What are you looking up? Can you tell me what you're
So
looking
I'm looking up last year. If you remember, they played each other. What was it in the AFC Championship game?
Yeah, I just said the AFC title game.
So I'm just looking up the score of that because there's that amazing picture.
What picture?
Of Stephon Diggs looking at them celebrating with his hands on his helmet, and he was just devastated. So here we go. The AFC Championship game last year, Chiefs throttled them 38-24. I don't think this is the same outcome this time, personally. This is going to be a dogfight, this game. And you know what's funny is the Bills, I felt like last year were better.
I think the Bills were better last year, too. But I don't know. They're hot right now.
I know, but it's weird, right? Because it's like the Bills feel like they were better last year, and then they come into the playoffs. They beat New England, which, listen, yeah, New England was definitely the inferior team, but let's not act like people thought that New England couldn't win that game. There's people that thought New England could win that game, including myself. So now you have Buffalo, absolutely dominant, and then now they're going back into Arrowhead for another shot at the Chiefs. Which, let's be honest, the Chiefs beat up on a horrible Steelers team.
I mean,
they were bad. So this is going to be a dogfight, and I would not listen. They're hot, very, very, very hot right now, and they are going in, firing on all cylinders. The run game actually looks good for once. That was my biggest takeaway. Devin Singletary, where did he come from? All of a sudden, he's gashing this offense. He's gashing the defense. Josh Allen's moving around. Deadly accurate. Dawson Knox is back and healthy. Listen, I think that this team is they're poised for an upset.
Well, everyone wants to watch that game. That game is going to be Sunday night.
I think it's Sunday primetime. Yeah,
Sunday 4:30.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a lot of people that think it's the game of the weekend. So
it's like a mini Super Bowl.
I mean, there's a lot of storylines to it. That's for sure. A lot of people, myself included, thought that these two teams were the undisputed best two teams in the AFC to start the season. Now they're playing each other in the divisional round.
A little earlier than
so
expected.
Only one of them is going to make the AFC title game, but one of them will be there, and we're all going to be watching to find out who it's going to be. So, that being said, we're going to take a small break. When we come back, we're going to preview the 4 games of the weekend. So make sure you are here with us as we take a small pee-pee break. We'll be right back.
Hey y'all, Spencer Blinn, the producer for Perfect Spiral Podcast, and you're listening to my band Hollow Choir's new song, What You Want. Available now on Spotify. What you want?
All right, Johnny.
Little fun fact, that break was at 38 minutes even.
Was it really?
Yeah, that was really good, actually.
Is that the first time you've ever had like a break like on the nose?
Yeah, I think
really?
so. Yeah, because like when we do this, I watch the time, and that was pretty good, Joe. Good work by you.
Thank you so much. I didn't plan that at all. So we got 4 games this week. Which game? Do you have any games you want to go over first?
So I feel like the game that let's go over the obvious games where we feel like we have an obvious
winner.
Yes.
So let's start with Green Bay and San Francisco.
Green Bay and San Francisco. San Francisco going into Green Bay. It's going to be cold, frigid. Break out the turtlenecks. Scuba suits might be needed. Did you see Mac Jones in the scuba suit?
No, I did not.
Oh my God, he was wearing a scuba suit, and he got like he got mesmerized by the fact that like his like air from his mouth would make like a cloud because it was so cold.
Okay.
It's the funniest thing I've ever seen. Wait, we didn't even talk. Oh my God, Joe.
What?
You know what's hot?
What's hot?
Whoever threw that dildo onto the field during the New England game. When I sent that to you, you were like, what the fuck is going on? I'm like, there's a dildo on the field.
I saw the replay. I was like, what the fuck is that? Then I looked at it. I was like, oh my God, it's a dildo.
Kendrick Bourne pointed at the dildo, and I laughed so hard. But anyway, so San Francisco going into Green Bay. Jimmy G's banged up. This team is banged up. They're going to get Nick Bosa back. They're going to get Fred Warner back. But Jimmy G, man, throwing that ball in that cold is going to be hard. And you have to think, Green Bay remembers 2 years ago. Green Bay remembers playing San Francisco in the NFC title game, and San Francisco absolutely running the ball down there.
I feel like it's all they're able to do.
So you would think, with the time to prepare, that Green Bay would know they need to stop the run. Because I feel like it's going to be incredibly hard for Jimmy G to throw the ball. How do you feel this game is going to end up?
I think it's going to be closer than people think, personally. I do.
Interesting.
I think San Francisco's hot right now. I think they're feeling themselves a little bit.
Well, yeah, they had a win that they were a dog. They went into Dallas as a dog.
And
huge win.
I think that Green Bay has to be careful. But I think if Green Bay sticks to their game plan, they will win. San Francisco is vulnerable in one place, and that is their defensive backs. Mm-hmm. Okay? And Dallas did not do a very good job of exploiting it, but I think Green Bay will. Now, MVS is doubtful for this game. Looks like he's not going to play. But Randall Cobb is going to play. Okay? They're getting David Bakhtiari back.
Yep.
They're getting pretty much everyone that they had on IR back.
Zadarius Smith, Jair Alexander.
Right.
Everybody.
Whitney Merciless. Everyone's coming back.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if Green Bay plays their game, they will win. And I think this is kind of what happened with the Dallas-San Francisco game. If San Francisco imposes their will and gets Green Bay out of their element, which I think they did to Dallas, got Dallas out of their element.
Surprise them a little bit, yeah.
Then I think San Francisco has a chance. The only way, he has a bold prediction for this game.
Okay, I'm ready for it.
Deebo Samuel has 200 all-purpose yards and 3 touchdowns in this game.
Wow, that's huge.
And the Packers win by 10. That is my bold prediction for this game.
Interesting. So he's just going to be their whole offense. And they're just,
I believe he is, yes.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like that's going to be the case.
I mean, I think Devontae's going to have a big game. I think A.J. Dillon's going to have a huge game. Listen, the Packers, we've been saying it for a while. The Packers are the most complete team in the NFL right now. I don't think that changes. So I think the Packers are going to win this game. But I think it's going to be closer than people think.
It's put up or shut up time, though. It's put up or shut up time for the Packers. Now it's now or never. So you're picking the Packers for this game?
I am. What about you?
I'm going to take the Packers as well.
Do you have a score?
27-20.
I got 34-24.
Okay. So you're thinking like full-blown blowout.
I think maybe like 27-24 in the fourth. Green Bay goes on a long drive in the fourth quarter to kind of put the dagger in the game type of deal.
Okay, that's fair.
But I do think it's close for a while.
I agree. What's the next game you want to go over? What's the next one?
Let's go back. Let's go to the AFC. Let's do both 1 seeds. So let's go Tennessee, Cincinnati.
All right.
John, me and you are on opposite sides of the fence here. You think Tennessee wins this game going away?
Not going away. I think it's a very close game. I can see them winning this game like 20-14, 17-14. I just think Derrick Henry's going to be too much. They're getting healthy at the right time, this team too. Another team that's getting healthy at the right time.
Let me preface this by saying I am not taking Cincinnati because I dislike the Titans. Okay? Everyone knows I dislike the Titans. Okay?
Precisely.
I think that Cincinnati is everything that Tennessee does not want to play. Cincinnati's athletic. They're fast. They're, they got like this young spunk about them. Mm-hmm. Tennessee is very like methodical, and they're very concentrated, and they try to wear you out, right?
Yeah.
They try to, over the course of 4 quarters, they try to wear you down.
Your defense takes a beating.
Right? I don't think Cincinnati plays like that. I think Cincinnati wants to score immediately
Yep.
and, let their defense do all the grunt work, almost.
They want to put the pressure on you.
Right. Exactly. I feel like if Tennessee was playing Vegas, easy dub for Tennessee, I think. Because Vegas kind of plays into their hands that way, right? If Tennessee's playing New England, I think Tennessee wins this game going away, right? I just think that Cincinnati, with the combination of Burrow's confidence is at an all-time high right now.
He feels like he could win the Super Bowl.
Okay? Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, John, Luka for Trey at the end of the half.
I don't want to talk about it.
Sorry. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. I mean, this team is just like they're rallying around each other. There's something going on here. I like what I'm seeing from my Bengals. I do.
There definitely is something going on here.
For Tennessee, it's pretty simple for me. I don't trust Ryan Tannehill.
You've been saying that. But you know
Johnny hasn't been good this year.
Listen, we know that this offense runs differently when Derrick Henry is there.
It's Derrick Henry's first game back. What are we going to expect? Yes. Is Derrick Henry superhuman? Absolutely. Okay? But this guy hasn't played in over 2 months.
Listen, it's playoff time, man. It's playoff
2
time.
months, John. 2 months. I don't care who you are. You don't just listen. And if he does, God bless. And I will gladly eat my words here next week if he does. But Derrick Henry is not walking onto the field after missing 2 months of football and going for 200 yards on the ground. He's not doing it.
See, I'm on the contrary. I feel like they're gonna feed the ball to him. They're gonna feed him. I know it's unlikely because the history shows guys coming back from injury tend to start slow. But this team can't afford to start slow. They need to hit the ground running.
Tennessee, you're talking about?
Yeah, I
believe so too. I think if they let Cincinnati start to control this game, they're going to lose big.
Yeah, because every time they've lost control of a game this year, they've lost, and it's been devastating losses.
Okay, let me ask you one question about this game. If there's one dark horse to take over this game, who do you think it's going to be?
A dark horse to take over this game and win. I wouldn't say A.J. Brown because I feel like that's too obvious.
Okay.
Part of me wants to say Julio. I'm going to go on the Cincinnati side.
Okay.
I think Joe Mixon can really do damage this week. He was very quiet last week. Very quiet mixing game. I feel like they're going to need him a little more this week to get the ball rolling. Just like Tennessee's going to need, I feel like, Julio Jones to not pull a hamstring. Because they need the matchups. Right? With Derrick Henry back, there's no excuse for that offense. And if the Cincinnati Bengals want to get anything going, I feel like they need to get Joe Mixon going early. If Joe Mixon's running the ball early, I feel like that's going to be a sign of things to come. If he starts gashing this defense, because you got to remember, coming off of a bye week, you got to knock off the rust a little bit.
Absolutely.
Cincinnati's coming off of a huge win,
right? Huge
momentum going into Tennessee. Which, let's be honest, Tennessee is not the biggest, home field advantage spot ever. You could easily walk into Tennessee.
I don't think Tennessee's like a place you fear.
Yeah, it's not a place you fear. So Cincinnati's walking in there with all the confidence in the world. And Tennessee's coming off of a bye, getting healthy, and their biggest thing is they're getting Derrick Henry back. So I have Tennessee personally because I do feel like Tennessee, if they can win this game, Tennessee can make a run to the Super Bowl, personally, in my opinion. But
I know you feel like Tennessee go to the Super Bowl.
So, but that's where I'm at. I know you picked Cincinnati.
I did. My AFC title game still is accurate. It's Cincinnati and Kansas City. So I'm going to stick with Cincinnati there. But I'll give you a guy who I think can make an impact for the Titans if they're going to win this game. and that's Harold Landry.
Ooh, okay.
Harold Landry has had a very good season for the Tennessee Titans. And I think if the Titans are going to win this game, Landry is going to have a really, really big impact on this game. He's going to have a couple of sacks, maybe a forced fumble. And, he's going to have to do a lot of things that he's going to have to be TJ Watt. That's the best thing. That's the best way I could describe it. So, with those two games out of the way.
Real quick, Julius Randle sucks.
Why do you keep saying that?
Because he got 2 points so far.
No, he's got more than that.
It's not according to my.
Nah, you're wrong. You're wrong.
It's
They just went to the half. It's 46. They're down 46-42. They had
just 4 points.
They had a horrid fourth. Horrid. Oh yeah, it does have 4 points. Look at that.
We're talking about my 10-leg parlay.
Oh my god. Let's go to the next game, John. Let's go to the next game. Let's go to what I think is the second most intriguing game of the weekend.
Okay.
That's Tampa Bay and the LA Rams in Tampa. Now, Tampa Bay, both teams coming off dominating performances.
Yes.
Okay, let's be honest.
Basically bye weeks.
Right? Basically bye weeks. It's true though. LA is the type of defense that would give Tom Brady problems. Agreed?
185% agreed. Correct.
The defensive line, Aaron Donald,
Von Miller, Jalen Ramsey.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yes, they have a defense that would give Tom Brady a fit. And earlier in the year, in week 3, LA did beat Tampa Bay in the regular season. That did happen. But this is the playoffs, and it's Tom Brady, and we all know too well not to go against Tom in the playoffs. John, what did I tell you before the playoffs started? I said we were going to get one good Matthew Stafford game and one bad Matthew Stafford game. I'm going to stick to my guns, and this is going to be the bad Matthew Stafford game. And I think Tampa Bay is going to win. And I think that the X factor of this game is going to be Keyshawn Vaughn.
Interesting.
The Rams are not great against the run. This is known. Okay? This is a known thing.
Do we know if Lenny's coming back? Or he wasn't activated?
He was not activated yet. He has, I believe, until tomorrow to be activated.
Okay.
The Cardinals did not run the ball against the Rams for whatever reason. The Bucs will try to run the ball against the Rams. Bruce Arians is smart, contrary to what we all believe about Cliff Kingsbury. Tom Brady remember, Tom Brady played this Rams team with Sean McVay in the Super Bowl 3 years ago. Okay?
He did.
Didn't do that well. Only won 13-3. Only scored one touchdown. This is a different Tom Brady team, different Bucs team, different team altogether. Right? Mm-hmm. And I know you're going to pick the Rams in this game. I know you're doing it. I've learned my lesson. I am not going to pick against Tom. I will rather pick with Tom, and then if Tom loses, I'll say, okay, good job by the other team. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I refuse. I've seen Stafford enough this year where I don't think he could do it consistently. Maybe he does do it consistently this game, but he's not doing it consistently for 4 games to win a Super Bowl. He's not doing it. Not doing it. And let's be honest, there's a lot of pressure on this Rams team. Okay?
Oh, probably the most pressure on any team in recent memory.
They need anything short of winning the Super Bowl, to me, is an abject disaster. It's a disaster. They have gotten to the exact point where Jared Goff took the Rams to last year. Exact point. If you do not win this game, I know it's against Tom Brady. I know it's against the Bucs. I know it's in Tampa Bay. At some point, you're going to have to play them if you want to win the Super Bowl. Right or wrong?
Correct.
Okay? So now's your time. You have to win this game to justify everything you've done. Because if you walk away from this season going just as far as Jared Goff did with the same roster pretty much intact last year, it's an abject failure. It's a failure. And next year, Matthew Stafford's a year older. You don't know if you're getting OBJ back. Andrew Whitworth's going to be 41 next year. Everyone gets a year older.
Von Miller.
Year older. This is their shot, John.
Can I counter you?
Tell me why the Rams are going to win, John. Tell me.
So first of all,
Make me a believer.
So this is, I just want to correct you. This is a slightly different Rams team than it was last year. I mean, with the addition of OBJ, I mean, you did lose Robert Woods, the addition of Von Miller. I mean, these are big additions to this team, right? But it also makes the idea of failure an even bigger concern. Like you're saying, it's an abject failure if they lose. I hate betting against Tom Brady because I love nothing more than watching Tom Brady in the Super Bowl because I love nothing more than watching history. I'd love to watch him win 8. I have them going to the Super Bowl. They are my Super Bowl pick. But if there was a team I felt like that could upset them, you know what? Let me rewind. Let me preface. The Bucs are my Super Bowl pick prior to losing Tristan Wirfs, prior to Adam Jensen getting banged up bad. The receivers that they have are just not great. Mike Evans is clearly the number one who does not do very good against Jalen Ramsey, history shows. Von Miller and Aaron Donald seem like they might be able to have a day on this offensive line, and that's what concerns me going into this game. I think that Tampa Bay is going to be able to stop the run, and Cam Akers looked great last week. Another who's hot, Cam Akers, shout out. Let's clap it up for Cam Akers.
Clap it up.
Look, he absolutely murdered Budda Baker, but he looked fantastic coming off of an Achilles injury 5 months ago. I think they'll be able to stop the run. But what I don't think they're going to be able to do is I don't think that on the opposite side of the ball, they're going to be able to stop the Rams pass rush. And we know time and time again, this is something that rattles Brady. This game could be a 9-3 game. This could be a 9-3 game to me. I know it sounds crazy, 2 high-powered offenses. How are you saying that? I feel like both quarterbacks are going to be under severe duress the whole game.
I don't think that's an incredibly crazy take.
And I think that I had Tampa winning the whole thing before you lose your all-pro tackle, who is probably top 2-3 tackles in the league right now.
Yeah, I agree. I think losing Wirfs would be big.
And if he doesn't play, well, the kid gloves are off now. And Von Miller, he's going to feast.
You really think he's going to... Has he been like that Von Miller? I don't think he's been that Von Miller. He had a good game last week.
He had a great game last week, but you know what? When does it matter right now in the playoffs?
Of course.
It doesn't matter what happened in the regular season. What happens now is the playoffs. And this... I'm a little nervous for Brady with the injury to Wirfs, and that's why I think the Rams could pull this game out. I'd rather the Bucs, because I love watching Brady. I'm going to go... Oh, man. This is tough because you already made you're picking the Bucs.
I am. I'm picking the Bucs 20-17.
Okay. I'm going to go Rams.
Okay.
Against my Super Bowl pick.
Okay.
Solely because of the loss of Wirfs. I'm going Rams 17-14.
Wow.
Close game. I think it's going to be a close game, like very close. Like,
I do too.
Could come down to Brady in the 2-minute drill at the end. Like it did last year against Green Bay and Lambeau.
Fair enough. Let's move on to our last game. Bills-Chiefs. We talked about this a little bit a while ago on segment 1. I'm going to quickly discuss it here. Games in Kansas City. Bills coming off maybe the most efficient playoff game in NFL history. Literally, no pun intended. Maybe the most efficient game in NFL history.
Yeah, that was insane.
Against a Chief team that it took a quarter and a half for them to get started, but once they did not look back. And they looked every bit as dominant as they did during the month of December and January. So you have two teams, John, who are playing at probably the best they've been playing at all year, both teams. And this is exactly what you want out of a playoff game. Literally.
Yep.
You want two teams who are playing at their best. You got superstars at the quarterback position. You got studs all over the field, offense and defense. And you got a team who, in Buffalo, who is clearly out for revenge. They're out for vengeance. They want to prove they belong. And on the other side, you got a team in Kansas City who everybody is now, everybody's now rooting against them. They have now, and it's funny because this happens in every team that becomes a dynasty or a super team.
I was just thinking.
You think of the early Patriots, the Bill and Tom Patriots. When Tom won his first Super Bowl, it was like, oh my God, look at this kid, 6th-round pick. What a great story. Wins it again. Oh my God, this guy's unbelievable. And then, 5 years later, it's, oh my God, this guy again? Can somebody please beat him? In basketball, you go to Golden State. They win all these championships. Oh, the first one they went, oh my God, they did it the right way. They drafted all their guys. Look at how it comes to, this is how you're supposed to build a team. Everything. It smiles. And then by the third time they win, they're like, oh my God. And then they get Kevin Durant. It's like, Jesus, can this team, please, somebody.
Yeah.
And now in the NFL, the Chiefs, first year with Patty Mahomes, go to the AFC title game. They lose to Brady on essentially friggin' offsides, defensive offsides.
Yep.
Next year, they win the Super Bowl against San Francisco. Last year, they go back Super Bowl and lose to Brady. This year, they're a game away from their 4th straight AFC title game. And now I feel like they've become the villain. They have become the, oh my God, I want to see somebody else.
Yep.
So now, if I'm a Chiefs guy, or if I'm a Chiefs fan, it's like, hey, listen, I want my time. We're not done yet. We're here to stay. So I feel like there's definitely a chip on both teams' shoulders going into this Sunday. And I think this is going to be the most hard-hitting game of the weekend.
Yes.
I don't think these teams like each other very much.
Nope.
And there's a little revenge, too, for the Chiefs. The Chiefs got punched in the mouth by the Bills earlier this season. At home. Remember that game on Sunday night? They got embarrassed.
And we didn't know what to make of that game where we were like, oh, are the Chiefs not, they're not at full strength. Is this the Chiefs? The Bills, they look good, but then they look bad for like 6 straight weeks. It was, I know exactly what you mean, but I want to pose something to you, though, real quick.
Talk to me, yeah.
Real quick. Isn't this starting to remind you a little bit of that Patriots-Colts rivalry from back in the day? Not really back in the day, but, when Peyton Manning was there and Brady was dominant in the AFC.
I can see that.
Here we go. Here's Brady. And then Peyton just time and time again with the Colts, you would think had the better team than the Patriots, all the MVPs, all the accolades, and then they fall just short. Are we starting to see that with Buffalo where it's like Buffalo, they have it all. They have the team. They have everything. And they just might fall just short?
I think it becomes that if they lose this game again.
Yeah.
If they lose this game again, and they have to answer these questions again, because last offseason for the Bills, it was like, how do we beat the Chiefs? Mm-hmm. That is our goal. How do we beat the Chiefs? That is our number one goal this offseason. We need to be good enough to beat Kansas City. Because they feel like, until proven, they're the second best team in the conference, and they got to dethrone the champs, and that's the Chiefs. I think this game is going to go tit for tat, personally.
I agree. It's going to be a shootout.
If the Bills want to win this game, Josh Allen has to run the football effectively. This Chiefs defense is not what it was 3 months ago. It's a good defense now. It's a good defense. Okay? You're not going to be able to throw the ball over the field against these guys. Not going to happen again. So this team needs to have a sound game plan. They need to be able to run the football. And they need to be able to really establish themselves as the initiators,
Yes.
I think.
I know exactly what you mean.
I think the X factor for Buffalo is the same guy that got them started last week, and that is Dawson Knox.
Huge game for Dawson Knox.
Huge. I
Shout
think
out
he
to
has
the
to have a
Titans.
big game this week. You know? Diggs didn't have a big game last week. In the midst of all those 47 points scored, Diggs did not score a touchdown. Partly, I believe, because J.C. Jackson was covering him, and J.C. Jackson is the top 5 corner in this league.
He had some good catches, though.
You know? But Stephon Diggs should have a big game this week. Travarius Ward and L'Jarius Sneed are not top-flight corners. They're good corners. They're not top-flight corners. Mm-hmm. You know? And Tyrann Mathieu is going to be kind of ball hawking all over the field. He's not going to be specifically on one guy. So I think that's how the Bills win this game. How do you think the Chiefs win this game on Sunday?
You got to get, first of all, the X factor of this game is going to be Jerick McKinnon.
You saw the way he played last week.
Holy cow. Jerick McKinnon gave
How
this up.
fast did he look last week?
I haven't seen that Jerick McKinnon since he was with Minnesota. I swear. He was like buried on the San Francisco depth chart for a team that has millions of running backs. They never used him. Then he was hurt.
I saw something the other day that said, is CEH really the third best running back on this team?
He just might be, honestly. But Jerick McKinnon gives them a dimension that they didn't have, right? Because he's so fast and he's so good in the passing game, too. I feel like you got to get your guys established early. Tyreek Hill's been a slow starter.
Yeah, I think that injury is still bothering him.
Yeah, like last week he had a good game. First of all, the pom-pom celebration was hilarious.
Because the last time we've seen that, it's the first time we've seen that since Terrell Owens.
Yeah, oh my God, that was amazing. But I think you got to get your guys started early. I think you're going to see a lot of like force-feeding Kelsey. You're going to see a lot of that. And you know what? It's going to also come down to the third guy. We've been saying it all year with them. Who's the third guy in this offense, right? Byron Pringle.
Byron Pringle's been good.
Yeah, DeMarcus Robinson. Josh Gordon's been non-existent. You got to find a third guy. And if you get that third guy going, it opens up a lot for the other two guys. It's just football common sense.
Right.
But I think that's how they win. I am actually going to... Who's your pick? You're picking the Chiefs?
I am picking the Chiefs. I'm picking the Chiefs 37. No. 32 to 27.
Okay. I'm going to go the other way.
You are.
I'm going to pick the Buffalo Bills. And I feel like it's going to be like a 38 to 30 sort of game. Very high scoring.
Why don't you be like 15 to 10?
Oh my God. That would be terrible. That would be just not fun to watch.
I do think whoever wins this game is going to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl.
100%.
I will say that. I am confident in saying that.
Well, no, actually, because I like Tennessee, so I can't agree with you.
No, I think whoever wins this game is definitely going to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl, for sure. That's my Super Bowl prediction is still alive.
You little nugget.
So
You said Chiefs Bucks, no? Was that your Super Bowl pick?
no, I had Packers Chiefs.
Packers Chiefs, okay.
Packers Chiefs was my Super Bowl prediction.
I think that's the odds-on favorite right now.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I think they're just the two most complete teams. That's why I think they're going to end up being in the Super Bowl with each other. So let's take a break. We're going to go to segment 3, and we're going to do a quick New York sports betting section before we leave.
Yes.
All right? All right, John, we're back.
We are back.
Quick segment here to discuss what we like as part of our New York sports betting gambling segment. John, we each have a couple of things we could talk about this week. Did you win any football bets last week?
So no. I've lost every bet.
Every single one.
Yeah, which speaking of FanDuel, I was just withdrawing my funds from this promo bet that you told me to do.
You withdrew them?
They gave it to me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and now I have 30 cents because I accidentally typed in the wrong number.
It just goes right into your account?
It takes like 2 to 4 days because I have to approve it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it takes a little while, but you do get it pretty quick. But yeah, that was the only reason why I did it. Free $45. I took a beating last week. Scotty Miller and Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts going over his passing total in garbage time killed me. And then Scotty Miller landing a point. So he was at the 9. They spotted him at the 8. His over-under was 8.5 for receiving yards. Let's just throw that out there. But FanDuel, good guys at FanDuel, they actually refunded everybody who did that parlay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they did, because it was like a promo with Pat McAfee show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a same-game parlay holiday. I took a beating last week. How did you do?
I'd won a couple.
Okay.
I did okay. I'm good with the live bets. Mm-hmm. So as soon as Tampa was up 7-3, I took the money line in that game. Tampa money line. I won like $20 on that.
Okay.
I also won on Jawan Jennings over under 24.5 receiving yards. He had 30. And I won the over-under on Van Jefferson receiving yards, which was 37.5. And he made that all on one play, that 141-yard catch that he had, which is the only catch he had all game. So those are the 3 bets that I won this week.
You did so good.
I did. And there's a couple here that I like this week. I'm going through them now. I like 2 in the Cincinnati Bengal game.
Okay.
Tennessee Titan game. I love Joe Burrow over 278 yards passing. Over under 278.5 yards passing. I love Jamar Chase over under 77.5 yards receiving. Pound the over, John.
Wow.
Pound the over.
Okay.
In my opinion. Okay? I like the Deebo Samuel plus 500 to score 2 touchdowns in the Niners-Packers game on Saturday night. Those are the 3 bets that I like. What about you?
All right. I like Aaron Rodgers over 265 passing yards.
Over 265.
Yes.
Okay.
I like Jimmy G under 230. I like Aaron Rodgers over 2.5 touchdown passes. And then in the Tennessee game, I like Ryan Tannehill under 238. And Joe Burrow over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Those are my props.
Okay.
And then I'd probably do like a little parlay mix.
Of course you can. I am staying away from the parlay. That's what I'm doing. Single bets only, honey.
Joe does not partake in the parlay.
Single bets only. Well, folks, another episode come and gone. We hope that you enjoy your divisional weekend. If you have a team who is still in it, good luck to you. I hope that you are happy. Next week, John and I will be together again to do and preview the title game. Going to be a fun one. John, anything before we go?
No, that's it, man. I'm good.
Well, folks, it has been fun. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Please don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe us on any way you listen to your podcast. For John McCarthy, this is Joe Miglio. Enjoy your football Sunday.